All right. We'll get back to it then. So anyway, like I was saying, because we've had a lot of technical difficulties today. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is TopDAWG. We're going to be doing this each and every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Today's Wednesday. I got a scheduling conflict tomorrow, so that's why we're doing it today. But from here on out, every Thursday, giving you a nice little preview of the games. We'll recap last week, give some top tens, and hopefully having a team of the week that we'll be able to bring in and an interview, and they'll be our featured team of the week, and we're looking forward to that. Chris, we've been talking high school football now for a couple of years, on doing the audio medium. It's good to have a nice little video element.
Absolutely. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to Calvin Pierce from TSC Sports. I've said it before, I'll say it again. He's the best videographer in San Diego County when it comes to sports. You've seen this stuff with Mikey Williams, the superstar that is Mikey Williams. You've seen this stuff with the best high school football videos out there. So we're presented by TSC Sports. Got a couple of sponsors we want to thank and give shout outs to. Braden, I'll let you take the first one.
Yeah, we got a couple big thank yous to Mark and Frank Powell, your real estate pros. You can call them at 858-922-7725. San Diego Realtors down here in America's finest city.
There you go. And I want to give a shout out to Precipitate Bottled Water, one of our sponsors, giving us the water we have here to drink today. So we want to thank them for their sponsorship as well. Without their support, this doesn't happen.
Took us a little bit to get on, but we apologize for technical difficulties. Thanks again for you guys being here. Couple things we want to get to, obviously, before we dive into the games this week, and before we give full previews of the big 4 leagues here in San Diego County. We'll give a full breakdown of the Avocado League, Western League, Metro Mesa League, and then the Grossmont Hills League out in East County. Give you our top games this weekend. We'll pick a handful of games, and then, of course, talk about some of the concepts and different storylines going into the season. And I think one of the big ones right now that I really wanted to talk about, I think it's not necessarily controversy, but it's something that I think a lot of coaches are keeping a pulse on, because it impacts where everybody stands when it comes to the playoffs. And that's the new way CIF will be determining the playoffs this year. They're going away from the Max Preps, Cal Preps rankings that I'm a big fan of and I'm a big supporter of. They're going to go with their own CIF rankings. It's a little bit simpler of a thing, but it sounded like a lot of coaches wanted to go to this. It is what it is now, but that's what they're going to go with, the new CIF rankings. Before we digest and talk about what's the pros and cons of each one, what's your initial reaction to the change before this season?
Well, I think, and I can't speak for anybody, but I know that one of the big concerns I heard over the course of the last 4 or 5 years was transparency.
Right.
Nobody really understood the algorithm that MaxPreps was using to rank teams. And so because that wasn't on the table, wasn't available to everybody, people felt like it wasn't transparent. It wasn't representative of where teams were year after year after year after year. Now, with that said, looking at teams that play, San Diego teams that play out of San Diego.
Which we have a lot more of those now than we did in the past.
Yes. That's going to get a little tricky, because if you lose to a team that's really, really good that doesn't come from San Diego, you're not going to get as many points anymore. So it's going to hurt your playoff seeding.
And the one thing with the Max Preps rankings, well, first of all, we call it the Max Preps rankings because Max Preps uses it. It's originally said by Ned Freeman, who runs calpreps.com. If you don't know that website, check it out. It's phenomenal.
We still check it all the time.
I have it up right now on my laptop to just kind of look over, different things. But full previews on every team, and he rates every single team in the country. And in that algorithm, every single game around the country impacts every team's rating.
Yep.
It's a couple little things. I mean, there's not a lot of games that Duncanville plays that's going to affect San Diego High.
Right.
But there's some games that we've noticed in the past that's like, why hasn't Cathedral's rating gone up? It's, because the team in Iowa that was supposed to play this team that played Mater Dei had a cancellation, and therefore they get. But anyway, it's all connected together. And the thing is with the transparency is Ned Freeman's not going to give up his formula.
I don't blame him.
And he shouldn't. It's his, right? It's his formula.
You make it, you own it.
And if you want to adopt it, by all means. But there's where you lose the transparency of what exactly is in the formula.
Right.
I think CIF's formula is a little bit more simpler. when it comes to knowing exactly what it is. It's pretty simple. They laid it out. It's like if you beat a team in the top, 25 that they have rated in San Diego, you get 50 points for beating them, and all the way down, and it depends on what division they're in, and vice versa.
The only part I don't like about that, and maybe you're going to go into this, but is blowouts. It
Right.
doesn't really give you a benefit or a negative if you blow a team out. It doesn't factor into it.
Well, it takes away the whole trying to run up the score on a team, which is fair. I think that's fair. But with Ned Freeman's ratings, they were talking that he had it built in where if you went over a certain amount, you couldn't get any extra.
Right.
If you went over went over 3 touchdowns over the spread that we like picking games on, whatever the projected spread was, you go 3 touchdowns over, you don't get any points extra. Than you would if you were to beat them by 3.
But you got more points for that 3 touchdown lead.
Right.
Whereas the CIF one doesn't.
Right.
So I don't know. It doesn't reward you for beating teams you should beat.
The thing is what you need to know about the Ned Freeman ratings is if you play good teams and you beat them, if you play good teams and you beat them, you get rewarded for it. And if you play teams that aren't very good, even if you beat them, you lose points.
You're not going to get rewarded for it.
It really, helps out with strength of schedule, and it rewards teams that goes out of the box and plays these very difficult schedules.
Now, let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
We've thrown this back and forth. Can you think of a scenario where a Division I team, or maybe even an open team, plays a lot of out-of-town schedules where they could fall to a Division I playoffs as opposed to being the open?
I think we saw that the last time we had these playoffs, did we not?
We did.
We had like Madison and Saints and teams that should have been in the open that fell, and according to the Max Preps rankings, they should be in the top. I mean,
and Torrey Pines got bumped in and had to play a 1 seed.
And at the end of the day, it benefited Madison, I guess, because they got to go on to a state championship. But
and it hurt Torrey Pines because Torrey Pines had to play the 1 seed, came in and lost that game.
Let's take Helix, who's got a handful of games outside the county.
Right.
They're playing teams like Servite and Mission Viejo, and I think this really hurts the Grossmont Hills League because they only have 4 teams in their league, which means they got 3 league games, which means they got to fill 7 spots. Steel Canyon's going to play St. Francis up in the Bay Area. I mean, that's a team that's very good, and are they going to get the same reward for playing that team as they would, playing a team from the Grossmont Valley League? And they probably don't.
Would they get the same amount of points if they play, say Valhalla?
Right.
Someone in San Diego, and they beat Valhalla, but they lose to St. Francis, they're actually going to get less points, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. I like the way it was. I thought, and my last point on this, because I know a lot of people want to talk about the different leagues and all that other stuff, my last point on the Ned Freeman ratings is, did you notice when we were doing the 18 playoff for the Open, and they were using the Freeman ratings, the Max Preps ratings, did you notice not a single upset happened?
Yeah, because
that means? You know what that means, aside from the fact that it's not March Madness, okay?
Right. No 5-12.
That means the rankings were perfect.
Well,
right?
the teams were where they were supposed to be.
Right, so that means the seedings were perfect. Right? For at least the Open. Now, you had a handful of upsets in all the other leagues or all the other divisions, but that means it was pretty much spot on. And I think that's pretty fair.
I want to bring up another question before we move on from this. The complaining. The complaints about the Max Press systems. Did you see most of your complaining from your top-tier teams in Division 1 or 2, or was mostly complaining from 3, 4, and 5?
It seemed like most of it was from 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, because they didn't feel like they had a chance to move up or
maybe they didn't want to move up, or maybe. Well, then all of a sudden you started having situations where you had teams that, and I'm not going to name names, but teams that were used to dominating lower levels,
right,
all of a sudden playing the big boys, right?
Right.
And the reality is, it's like, look, if you're going to sit there and puff your chest out that you're this great football team, which if you're playing the best, go ahead.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, I don't want to hear you complain that you have to go play Torrey Pines in the D1 playoff.
That's
or
fair.
you're in D2 and all of a sudden you got to play, El Camino, right?
Right. That's
I mean,
fair.
And it plays out in the schedule too, because they're out there and they're in some of these schools, they go play and they beat up on all these small schools, and they don't I don't want to say challenge themselves, but they don't think out of the box when it comes to their scheduling. And I think this really hampers a lot of teams trying to think outside the box and improve their schedule?
Well, I mean, you kind of hit on the nail on the head right there. It doesn't reward teams for having a challenging schedule.
Right.
Period. It gets us in a situation where you're going to have to you play teams as good as you or below you in order to get a better playoff seeding.
Let me tell you that. Do you know how Southern Section's doing it?
No.
Because they announced it a couple weeks ago. They're in the opposite direction of the San Diego section.
Why am I not surprised?
Southern Section is going to go with the max preps ratings. Okay? That's step one. Step two, this is exactly what they're going to do. They're not setting divisions at the beginning of the season. They're doing it at the end of the season. So whatever the Southern Section playoffs are, so I think they do 16 team playoffs, right? Whatever it is. They seed it based on the Freeman ratings, the top 16 teams rating-wise in the Southern Section, boom, they're in the open. The next 16 teams, D1. The next 16 teams, D2, and so on and so forth.
Well,
I think that
gives you the best chance to win.
Right.
I mean, that makes sense.
I mean, if you're team 17, you might be a little bit more fired up. You got a 1 seed, and then and then all of a sudden you get bumped up and you're 16. I mean, those are kind of the breaks that some teams might theoretically tank for. I doubt that would happen, but I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you get really good matchups that way. Then you get teams like, La Jolla. Let's take La Jolla, for example.
All right.
La Jolla had a really good year last year.
Yep.
In the spring.
Yep.
Let's just pretend it was a full season. We had playoffs.
Okay.
If you have a really good team, you should have an opportunity to play the best at your best. Not play the best 2 years after when you don't have those players anymore.
100% agree with that.
Because how many times have we seen, coaches go, look, I had a really good year. We won CIF in D4 because we were better than all the other teams. And then I get bumped up and my classes behind are not nearly as good.
No. I mean, you lose your seniors.
Right.
How many times have we seen it? You lose your seniors. I mean, listen, I'm going to call it names. I'll say it. San Diego High lost all their seniors that year. What happened next year? They get bumped up. It's hard to compete. Kearney High, same thing happened to them, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's proven. How can you expect the underclassmen who lost all that senior leadership that were winners that next year to go up and compete against what the previous year did? That doesn't make sense.
And I think that's the way the Southern Section is doing it is great. I think you're going to get great matchups. I think it rewards teams that are really good that might just have that one class that gives them an opportunity. I mean, let's say you're San Diego High and you want to go and you have a team, you got a group of freshmen in your class that has an opportunity to win D2 level, D1 level. They're really good.
Okay.
I'm going to have to try to battle my way up for 3 years before they get there to try to get in to get my best chance. I mean, think about all the different years of planning that you have to do, where with the Southern Section, it's the best 16 teams that year, boom, they're in. You got a shot. Now, I don't know how many teams necessarily want to be in the top 16 in the Southern Section when you got to take on the modern days Boscos and all those schools. But at the same time, if you got a really good squad and you think you can go, do it. I mean, I think that's a good opportunity. So
well, and I think listen, I think sports is about shooting your shot.
Right.
Okay? If you're not going to give it your best, make a run, make a go for it, what are we playing for?
Right.
What are we really playing for? Are we playing for participation trophies?
No.
Because football ain't that sport. Maybe other sports might be, but football ain't that sport.
I want to win.
I want to win.
I want to be the best of the best. And in order to do that, you have to beat the best.
Yep.
We'll transition from that to some of the leagues. I'm excited for a full season.
Oh, man.
The spring season was just kind of
Wait. Before we get into that, can we talk about how we got here today? Let's talk about the last 2 years or 18 months of what the world has been through. Because, I mean, there's coaches watching this, there's players watching this, there's parents watching this. Let's talk about it, how we got here.
Well, we had to go through a pandemic. We went through a lot of...
Wait, where's your mask?
Where's your mask?
I don't know.
I'm vaccinated.
I'm vaccinated.
So you're fine.
So I'm fine?
Yes.
All right. If you ain't got your vaccination, take it from me, TopDAWG. Please go get vaccinated.
Did you have COVID?
I never had COVID. Now, I will tell you, I did get the Moderna shot, and that second one wiped me out, man.
I got the Pfizer one.
Yeah. Pfizer, I heard, wasn't as bad, but the Moderna, the second one, it felt like I was 80 years old and I had rheumatoid arthritis.
So
died.
We went through the pandemic. First of all, hats off to all the coaches who were able to get not only the kids to play, but opportunity to, go through the testing, to do things the right way, to keep kids safe during a time, to deal with the cancellations and the quick movements of schedule changes and all the fiasco we had to go through the spring. Here's to a football season that hopefully we don't have to go through a lot of that. I'm sure there will be some. We've already had some cancellations due to COVID-19 and already reschedules.
Yep.
We've seen a couple already where two teams dropped out, and the teams that are supposed to play are now playing each other. So I think it's going to be still another fluid type season, and hopefully we could be in a spot where the majority of our teams make it through with no issues, everybody's safe, and you get to play everybody at their best, which I'm looking forward to the most. Real quick, talk to us about the spring season. How you think it went, what's some things you missed out on with whatever, but 6 games enough for you in the time, or is it basically like, is it every game we got was a blessing?
Yes, every game we got was a blessing. Before we move on to spring, I do want to say during the off season, I lost a good friend of mine, and it really hurt a lot. And rest in peace, Mario Fierro. That's one of the best football guys I've ever been around. I get emotional when I talk about him. I miss him and I love him, and it was hard. That was really, really hard for me personally. I think you guys saw some of it on my social media. I've checked out a little bit, to be completely honest. When a friend gets murdered like that, it has a way of putting things in perspective for football. And so it just kind of made me, I moved, changed things. COVID really had a huge impact on me and my family, and losing Mario. But to the spring. Personally, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. There was nothing like going out, and it was really cold some of those games.
Oh, the first games. It's funny. It was the exact opposite of like a regular season.
Yeah, it was
where
hot
the first
and cold.
games are like freezing, and the second half it was getting warm. Whereas the regular season, like coming this Friday, we're gonna have kids cramping all over the place. It happens
every
every year because they don't listen to their coaches when they say drink water starting on Monday.
Pickle juice, by the way, pickle juice.
Pickle juice works?
Vinegar or pickle juice, one of the two.
I heard coconut water works.
I did not hear coconut water works.
I heard it's disgusting, but it works.
One of my guys here drinks coconut water all the time.
Doesn't work?
I don't know. He still cramps.
I played with a couple guys that would drink it. They would they would have to force it down, and they said it would work, and I just would be like, that's
I'll
disgusting.
do pickle juice. I'll go old school.
I
Pickle
like
juice.
pickles though, so I don't think I'd mind the pickle juice. I've never had pickle juice.
That's personal, B.
No, the pickles are good. Dill pickles. You ever had fried pickles?
I'm good.
Fried pickle chips?
No.
You don't like pickles?
No.
You like cucumbers?
Cucumbers are alright.
But you don't like them pickled.
I don't like them pickled. Something about that pickle.
You'll drink the pickle juice, but you don't like
the only reason I drink the pickle juice, I don't cramp. That's it. It's not like I enjoy it. I mean, who drinks pickle juice and enjoy it?
I mean, I've never had pickle juice. I just say it probably wouldn't bother me too much.
What are we doing?
Orange juice over oranges? Or do you do both?
I do both. Apple juice over apples.
You don't want to eat an apple?
I won't eat. No. I won't eat apple. Can't do an apple.
Spring season.
Yep. I loved it.
It's a bummer we didn't have a playoff.
I know. You know the game I wanted to see?
Or at least a bowl game?
You know the game I wanted to see? Cathedral Carlsbad.
I want to see that.
I wanted to see that. I wanted to see Granite Hills, Madison. I wanted to see Granite Hills, Madison, and Carlsbad Cathedral.
I wanted to see that too. I thought maybe they could switch the games.
The most disappointing thing, I'll be candid, Torrey Pines was the most disappointing thing about the spring season. I really had high hopes for them. They were going to change their offense. Everything was going to be better, and they flopped the first couple games, and then they went back to the winning team, and they started winning again.
Right.
So I was wishing they had more success, I think, with the passing game.
It was very, I mean, it's so hard to
And the quarterback left again.
It's so hard to try to
change your identity.
Well, not only that, but they had to do it and ramp it up quick.
I don't know. I mean, they had, what's his name?
So much
Danny Mitchell was there for a little while.
A little bit.
No, he was there for a couple months.
You're changing a program that has run the same thing for a very, very long time.
True.
That they ran it freshman, sophomore, junior. So, I mean, it's a whole, that doesn't just happen overnight. And then, he leaves. And so now you got to try to do it without him in a shortened season and a shortened ramp. I mean, we had 2 weeks to get ready to go.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be more injuries, to be honest.
I'm kind of glad they made it through without. Yeah. We didn't have a lot of injuries, which is great.
Do you think, let me ask you this, do you think...
I didn't think the level of play was that bad either, for the most part.
No, I thought it was terrible. I'll be honest. Outside of the top teams, I saw some scores.
Better than I thought it was going to be.
I saw some scores on a lower level that I was like, what, are we watching basketball?
I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that a lot of athletes are playing other sports.
No, I just think they weren't ready. I mean, 2 weeks is not enough time to get ready.
Well, yeah. Well, then even during those 2 weeks, they're still trying to fight admins and all the other
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true. We didn't have full support. How's that? Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. But now we have a full season.
Yep.
We want to break down the top 4 leagues, at least in our opinion, in San Diego County. If you have any discrepancies with that, you can comment on our YouTube page about the top 4 leagues. I think there's one in each region. I think there's the Avocado League in the north.
Agree.
I think there's the Grossmont Hills League in the east.
Agree.
I think it's the Metro Mesa League in the South Bay.
Agree.
And I think it's the Western League in the city.
Hey, you got my vote.
I don't think there's really anybody that's going to be disagreeing with that too much.
Nope.
We'll start with the Avocado League.
All right.
Okay? Carlsbad, El Camino, LCC, Mission Hills, Oceanside, Torrey Pines, San Marcos.
All right.
Okay. Just off the bat, I already know your answer. But just off the bat, who's the favorite to win the league?
I don't think you know what I'm gonna say on this one. I think everybody expects me to say Carlsbad because
I would expect you to say Carlsbad.
Everybody's gonna say.
I
expect
think
me to say it.
Carlsbad's the best team in that conference.
You know what I think's the best team in the conference? Mission Hills.
I think they're 1B.
Nope. I think Mission Hills is
They're
going to
going to be
surprise.
better than...
I think Mission Hills is going to surprise a lot of people. I think they're the sleeper team in the north. I think that they've been very, very quiet, and they've religiously been going about their work. They got a new transfer in Carmelo Chapman. They came over from Tri-City Christian. He's one of the best corners in San Diego County. Super underrated. I think that team and the way that Hauser coaches them, I think, in my opinion, Mission Hills is the team to beat.
In the Avocado League.
Yep.
I will tell you this. I think they're the most...
Could they be the most dangerous?
No, I think they're the most non-talked about team. The least talked about team right now.
Okay.
Because even when I was going through my notes and stuff, I almost forgot about Mission Hills. Because of it's Carlsbad, and it's Cathedral, and it's Saints.
And it's El Camino.
And El Camino, and it's Lincoln.
Yeah.
I mean, you keep going out of the top
Right.
right? And it's like, what about Mission Hills? You know who we haven't talked about once yet?
Who?
Helix.
Ooh.
I mean, we'll get to that when we get to
Yeah,
Football
let's get
Hills
to
League.
that. Yeah.
But when have we ever talked about, done a high school football show when it wasn't first off with Helix?
It's been a long,
It's been a long time. That was kind of a disappointing spring, is watching them try to go through. Obviously, you're talking about a team that had all these guys ready to play, and they were the unfortunate thing for Helix was they had so much talent that they lose it all for college.
Yeah.
You never got to see Tyler Buckner wear
Yeah,
the
no
Scotty
kidding.
dog on the side
I know,
of his helmet.
I
You didn't
know.
get to see it
Yeah,
once.
yeah.
And all the players that they had, it's really unfortunate you didn't get to see that. And then they had to go with the youth, and then it was just a disaster.
The wheels came falling off.
Right.
And we all saw what happened. Listen, I can't remember a time where they've lost more than 3 games in a season.
Right. And what did they?
I think
what did they
one
finish
time in
last
the last 10 years they lost more than 3 games in a season.
year? It was just not. It was not.
It
Helix
wasn't
football.
pretty. It was not pretty.
We'll get to that in the Grossmont League. Okay,
right.
so you say Mission Hills.
I say Mission Hills.
I say Carlsbad is the number one. Carlsbad here. I got my Ned Freeman notes for you from Cal Preps. Just we'll compare and get
right.
rather your take and my take. Okay, Carlsbad's picked to go number 1 in the league. Okay, they have a strength of schedule of 15.1, which is 58th best in California.
That's impressive.
So that's not bad. I mean, we have a team in San Diego that's got over 800 on their strength of schedule. So
I wonder who that is.
I bet you wouldn't guess correctly.
Cathedral.
No, the worst schedule.
Oh.
800 is like so 58th out of like 1,000, whatever. How many teams is pretty good. I'll take that strength of schedule. 52.3 rating according to Cal Preps. Projected finish in the conference first. Like I said, they're projected to go 10-0. Do they go 10-0?
Do they go 10 or no?
I don't think so either.
No. They lose to Mission Hills.
They lose to Mission Hills.
They do. And they lose to Torrey.
Really?
They can't stop the run. Dang. That's why we want. That's what
They're
I
going to
said
rip through Great Oak, Milliken, and Lawndale, though.
I agree. They're going to struggle with El Camino.
Which is their week 3 game. Then they got Mission Hills, which you think they lose. By Torrey, San Marcos, Oceanside, LCC, Vista.
I could even see Oceanside making a run at them.
I'm going to stop you.
You going to stop me?
I'm going to stop you there. Really?
I do.
You
I can
have
see
no
it.
faith in this team. I think they go 9-1.
No, who they lose to then?
The thing is with me, we've talked about this on podcasts before. I don't pick anybody to go undefeated. It's too hard.
I got a team going undefeated.
Is that a biased pick?
No.
I think they go 9-1. I
Okay.
think they drop one league game. I think a Mission Hills one might be good, but I think Mission Hills loses more than one game.
Okay,
So
look at
that's
Mission
why.
Hills' schedule. Who do they lose to?
Well, they're projected to go 8-2, according to Ned Freeman. But I think they lose to Carlsbad. I think Torrey Pines might give them a run for their money.
Torrey? Mission Hills?
The wing tee's tough to stop, and it's back. They got some big kids. Torrey's got some big kids.
The kids going to Stanford. The tight end, their best players going to
How
Stanford.
much did they play last year? They're huge.
I don't know.
They got some big guys.
We'll see.
It's an equalizing offense.
Yeah. I just
Control
think
the clock.
I think Speed and Hauser. I mean, let's be honest. When was the last time that Gladding beat Hauser?
I don't know. I'd have to go on my other
Look it
favorite, my other favorite high school
Website?
football website,
Which is?
Partleton Sports.
There you go.
Have you been on that one? I've showed you that
Shameless
one.
plug.
Do I need to go on there and find what
No, let's
Chris
move
Smith's
on.
senior year at Crawford was?
No, please don't. Please don't. Let's move on.
All right, so I got Carlsbad 1, I got Mission Hills 2. Number 3, according to Ned Freeman, is El Camino. Are we buying the hype on El Camino?
I am.
You are.
I am.
They're the best team in the conference, second best team in the conference. Are they better than Carlsbad?
I'll say, listen, I like that quarterback. I like that kid. I really do. Funny story. That was interesting. Funny story. The quarterback and I really didn't like each other. There's a long.
You have beef with the starting quarterback in El Camino?
I did. Kaya and I did not like each other. He's very vocal. TopDAWG's very vocal.
TopDAWG's got a lot of beef with a lot of people.
It is what it is, man.
Did you settle your beef?
So this past 707 season, I saw him at a game, and I could not deny the kid's talent. I mean, he was throwing dimes, dude. So I walked up to him and I said, "You know what, dude? You're the guy." And I told him. I gave it to him. We went on Twitter.
Oh
I even told everybody, this kid's really, really underrated. I think Kaya Reed is going to put that team on his back and carry them into maybe even the open division.
They win game 1 against Saints at home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
At Grossmont, they should win that. Open, Carlsbad, they got Westview, who they should be able to handle. Eastlake, week 5. It's not bad.
That's a revenge game.
That is.
That's always been a good game between El Camino and Eastlake.
I actually remember the kid that got decked, the Eastlake kid that got crushed by.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
He's actually one of my brother's friends. I actually met him. He's claim to fame as the kid that got crushed.
I don't know if that's something to brag about.
Q, our guy Q.
Yeah.
He got smashed.
Well,
Poor Q.
my claim to fame is I had a lot of that year that Eastlake and El Camino played. I think it was 2014,
Yes.
where Jaden Casey was there and DJ Ralph was there.
No, that was not 14.
What was that?
I graduated
16?
13. That was
16?
16.
Okay, but I picked El Camino to win that game, and everybody in the Eastlake community alienated me, hated me, killed me, cursed me, whatever. And Shane Casey, which I got a lot of respect for and a lot of love for. If you don't know Shane Casey, he's one of the best football guys in San Diego. Shane, shout out to you. I love you, brother. After the game, he gave me an El Camino championship hat. And I put that hat on. I walked right in front of all the Eastlake people.
So at this point,
Southwestern.
you've already alienated the Carlsbad fan base?
I'm not a Purple People eater.
You already alienated Saints, too. You think they're going to lose game 1. You already started off. I can't wait for the comments when I'm done watching this.
I get phone calls. I don't get comments. I get phone calls. And
Nobody's
that's
called
okay.
you in the middle of the show yet.
Not yet. And by the way, my girlfriend just texted me and said, stop checking your phone during your live broadcast.
Right.
So
So,
I got checked on that. Sorry, guys.
so El Camino, they're projected to go 7-3. They got the 43rd best schedule in the state. Projected to come in 4th in that league, Torrey Pines. They're projected to go 6-4. I can go with that. They got a tough schedule with. They got the 16th best schedule in the state of California.
I think they go 4-6.
I mean, it's tough. Cathedral on Friday. That's going to be a tough game. We don't know what San Clemente's going to be like, but they're always a challenge. I'm sure that might be a loss for them too. I think they beat RB. What do we think about Poway?
Have you seen their quarterback?
No.
Okay. That's probably one of the sleepers in the county. If you don't know that quarterback, go to Poway. I think it's Poway HS Football on Twitter. Find the quarterback. That kid is a gunslinger.
Is he related to is he a Butler? Or are they down with the
He looks like he's an Asian kid. And he is, I want to say he's a junior. But he's a gunslinger. Saw him at 7-on-7, and he was dropping dimes.
That's an old
Very impressive.
Poway-Torrey Pines rivalry. It used to be back in the heyday, back in the 90s.
I don't think it's so much anymore.
It's not anymore.
I think Del Mar Heights Road is the fight now.
You got the Titans beating the Falcons in week 4, whatever it is.
I could see it.
Just
That passing game,
schools.
that passing game is going to be pretty tough for Poway.
Let's roll through the rest of the league here. They got San Marcos finishing 5th, Oceanside 6th, and LCC 7th. 5-5 record for San Marcos, 3-7 for Oceanside, 3-7 for LCC. I don't know if I think Oceanside and LCC are going to go 3-7.
What about San Marcos?
I don't think they go 5-5.
Where do you think they go?
I think Oceanside and LCC finish in front of San Marcos.
I do too. I think 5-5 for LCC and Oceanside. LCC might have outside shot at 6-4. I think that San Marcos is going to incredibly struggle. I think they're going to go 2-8. That's where I think they are right now.
RB at Mira Mesa, Steel Canyon at Oceanside, LCC by San Pasqual, and the rest of Avocado League play.
Yeah, when they get into Avocado, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a gauntlet.
All right, let's go back to Oceanside for a second.
Yep.
Because you thought they could give Carlsbad a run for their money, if I'm not mistaken.
I did.
6th by Ned Freeman. That's kind of low. 3-7.
Hey, you know what? The Oceanside Pirates always
San
are
Clemente,
underrated.
San Clemente, Saints, San Marcos, Torrey, Olympian, and Ramona. That's not a very challenging non-conference aside from the first 2 games they played.
No, and they could be right there. That's what I'm saying. They could be right there. And if injuries don't bite them, they're going to be right there.
Before Sean Sovacol gets really mad that he's projected to finish in last, do you think he comes in last?
I have no comment.
I don't think they come in last. No. I think San Marcos comes in last.
I do too.
So you got Mission Hills coming 1. Give me your 7.
Let's go 1 Mission Hills.
Okay.
2 Carlsbad.
Okay.
3 Torrey.
No El Camino.
4 El Camino.
Oceanside.
5 LCC. 6 Oceanside.
So you do have Oceanside coming in 6th.
Yeah. 7 would be San Marcos.
San Marcos. I go Carlsbad 1, Mission Hills 2, Torrey 3, El Camino 4, Oceanside 5, LCC 6, San Marcos 7.
Okay. I mean, that's close. Those are flip-flop.
Any shout-outs you want to give to Avocado League players?
Just Carmelo Chapman over at Mission Hills. Give a shout-out to him. And Kai Reed over at
El Camino.
El Camino.
This league's going to be a lot quicker to go through. We were talking about Helix earlier.
Yep.
We're talking about the Grossmont Hills League. And until the spring season, this conversation was always Helix is going to win and everybody else is going to fight to be who's behind Helix, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's been the conversation
Yep.
forever.
Yep.
Helix in the spring goes 2-4. They have a strength of schedule, of a 30.9. They have the 13th most difficult schedule in all of the state of California.
And they're coming off a
they're coming off a 2-4 year, a losing record for the first time in God knows how long.
Not to mention, Christian Washington's gone, right?
Right.
Jalen Hall came in and left.
Gone.
I think Etheridge left, so he's at another school too. That's another one. They lost
Still
a lot of
very young.
guys.
Still very young, right?
They lost a lot of guys and a lot of key positions.
So when Cal Preps goes, they're projected to go 3-7. Do you believe that?
Not 3-7.
I don't think they go 3-7 either. Because I started going through their schedule and I started finding wins a lot faster than that.
Yeah.
But you look at their schedule. Mira Mesa should be a win for Helix on Friday.
Okay.
Should. I mean, I think Coach Thompson's turned that program back around to where it was. I'm sure they'll give him a fight, but I think Helix should be able to win that game. We saw Otay scrimmage last Friday. I think Helix beats Otay.
I don't.
Really?
I think Otay beats them.
I think Mater Dei is going to give them a run for their money. They beat them last year.
I think Mater Dei is going to beat them.
Cathedral, Helix always has something up the sleeve for Cathedral.
Doesn't matter.
Talent-wise, Cathedral should be able to handle them. St. Augustine.
I think they lose the Saints.
And then you got 2 games that are going to be
By the way, there's no way I'm
ridiculous.
putting that team on my schedule. If I'm Helix right now, I'm not putting that team on my schedule.
We went to the Battle of the Beach.
Yep.
And we saw them there.
Yep.
And our boy,
Tell everybody who we talking about.
our guy Roland Veal,
Yeah.
messaged me and he said, "How does this team look?"
Yeah.
And I said, "You better pack a lunch." Because they look
So it's funny. He texts
really
you too.
good.
You know he texts you too, right?
Yes,
So
he
he texts
did.
me. You know what my response was?
What?
I had 2 words: Tongans and Pollies. That's it.
They look good.
They were big. They were big
They were
and
the
physical.
Biggest, they were the biggest team there.
I'm not putting that team.
They
look,
had modern day Santa Ana was there.
Yes.
St. John Bosco was there.
yes.
You know, Santa Margarita was there. I mean, the best teams in California were there.
I was. By the way, I wasn't that impressed with Santa Margarita.
Neither was I.
I thought they were. I mean, they were pretty undersized.
They're on Saints' schedule. You beat Saints?
Santa Margarita?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so too. Servite. Helix has a battle of the bagpipes with Servite. You know Servite comes out with bagpipes?
I didn't know that.
The battle of the bagpipes.
I heard about it, but I didn't know that.
Week 5 on
So-
September 24th. That
Going into
Good
the
luck.
bye, going into their bye.
they got Servite on the road.
So going into their bye, what's their record going into the bye?
I say 3-3. What do you say? 2-4?
1-5.
1-5.
They're gonna beat Mira Mesa.
I think they beat Mira Mesa, Otay, and I think that modern day game's up in the air.
I don't think a modern day game's up in here at all.
I think it's up in the air.
I think that
I'm
the modern
waiting-
days. I think the modern days got that.
I'm waiting for Verlaine and Joyner to give me a phone call, but I think that game at this point.
Well, I'm not.
I gotta
listen.
here's the thing, I gotta
Hey,
see
wait,
him the
wait.
first
When
2
am I gonna sit here and support Verlaine and John Joyner and you're not?
I know. Those are my
I'm
guys.
saying that, and you're not like running with the little backpack
Dude,
guy.
Here's my thing with Helix. It's just the saying of Helix is Helix. I just cannot believe that they can have.
I don't see those days
I
being
just
here
can't
anymore, though.
believe that they are going to go 2 seasons in a row just not good.
I know Roland Ville's gonna hit me
But
up.
I will
ASAP.
say this. A family friend of mine that was coaching there, who's all about Helix, is no longer at Helix. He jumped ship. So, obviously,
Dun dun dun.
he's at Mesa, though. It's not like he betrayed and went
okay.
to
All right. If he'd went to a rival school, I'd have been like, ooh.
He ain't going to... let me ask you this. Better question.
Wait, if he'd went to Mount Miguel, I'd have been like, ooh.
Better
Inside
question.
joke,
Hold
sorry.
on, hold on. Do you know that there's a battle of a musket?
Yes.
Does Helix relinquish the musket this year?
No.
No.
It doesn't matter what we do in the regular season, because I'm telling you right now. That's what did I say? I said 2. I think I said 2, at least 2 wins, right? And they're 1-5 going to that, but
You said
they're
one-
never gonna lose to Grossmont.
They're never going to lose the Gross.
It's just not gonna happen.
Okay, so after the bye,
Yep.
Mission Viejo.
See why?
They
Why?
can't find anybody else to play. Because the Grossmont League, putting 4 teams in one league was dumb.
No, I like the idea, because other teams had a chance. Now, yeah, you got teams like El
Cap.
Cap that's gonna have a run for it. You know, it's not fair to put El Cap against a Helix every year. They're gonna get
Tell you
walloped.
what, Ron Bernard ain't afraid of those teams.
I wouldn't say he's afraid of them, but
Not
I think he's
afraid.
happier not playing them.
He loads his schedule up.
I think he's happier not
to the point
playing
where the
them.
alumni base of El
Ron's
Cap's
a good-
Like, can we play teams that are not overly scary?
According to, I want to give a shout out to EC Preps.
Adam Paul.
I want to say, I have to believe so. Helix hasn't had a losing record since 2005.
It's been a while. Do you think it's back to back?
That's 16 years.
Can they win 6 games?
No.
Can they win 5 games?
No.
4 games?
Yes.
Over under 4.5.
Under. Take an
Alright.
under.
All right, so that's Helix out of the way. The projected winner, according
Dude,
to...
wait. Do they even beat Granite Hills?
Well, that's where I was getting to. The projected winner of the Grossmont Hills League is Granite Hills.
Wow.
They're projected to go 6-4.
I don't know. I mean, after losing Justice McCollum
Let's put it this
and
way.
Jalen Hall's gone,
Helix has the 13th hardest schedule in California. Steel Canyon has the 28th hardest schedule in California. The easiest schedule out of the 4 is Granite, the 99th
you know what?
hardest schedule. And here's the other thing, too. Do you see the projected win-loss across the top? This is according to CalPreps. They got Granite going 6-4, Grossmont going 2-8, Helix going 3-7, Steel Canyon going 3-7. Does 6 wins win that league?
5 wins win that league.
Does 4 wins win that league?
It might.
If Helix wins 4 games, do they
And
win the league?
They could. Whoever, you know what? Whoever wins 4 games in that league wins.
Then 3 of them might come against their league.
Yep.
Granite's got Poway at home, which is going to be a tester. They should be able to handle Valhalla. They got Madison. How's Madison?
They're young. but they're physical and they're fast. And they've got one of the
They
best
got a lot of
linebackers.
experience after last year.
I'll tell you what, that linebacker over there, if they put that kid at running back, the Poly kid, forget about it. Forget about it. That kid reminds me of Samson New.
Madison, then Eastlake. I think Eastlake gets them.
I could see Eastlake winning that game.
Otay Ranch. Do we know anything about Walden Grove?
No.
Do you even know where they're from?
I don't even know where that is.
Anything about Walden Grove? St. Francis. I know a little bit about them from the Honor Bowl.
Yep.
They're a good program. They have to go up there to St. Francis, Grossmont, Steel Canyon, Helix. Steel Canyon, another brutal schedule. Steel Canyon's another team. Coach Longerbond loads up his schedule. They go and play teams. So
He ain't afraid to play nobody.
no, and I was talking to a guy from Steel.
I love Bone, by the way. Bone's another one of my favorite guys.
Well,
in San
Steel
Diego.
Canyon's in that situation, right, where it's like they can't find games in town because they're usually
They're a sleeper team.
Well, they're good, right? So they're not going to be able to play anybody that's worse than them.
Right.
And then anybody that's better than them that they can play are already on their schedule.
Yeah.
They play the Western League. They have Saints, Lincoln, and Cathedral all back-to-back. Oh, and by the way, they got Madison.
That's crazy.
They're just missing La Jolla, and they're basically in the Western League. But they're playing all the top teams in the Western
Well,
League.
in the offseason, Bone was trying to get that program into a super league.
Right.
So
We
I'm
haven't
not
even-
surprised.
That's a topic for another. That's
That's
for
next
another
week.
day.
Yeah, let's talk about that next
The
week.
Super League. But anyway, I mean, he's playing all the best teams in town, and then aside from those teams that are just those 4 teams, by the way, dying to find games too in town.
Yep.
If you're
Hey,
If
I think
you're-
the old
if
head
you're
edge
an
has it.
Avocado League
Right
team,
now,
why would you play
there's the
Steel?
haves and the have-nots.
No, absolutely. I think especially that was seen after.
Hey, wait, and let me ask you a question. What happened? You started bringing it up, but what happened to the Avocado League? They weren't scared of anybody.
Right.
Now it seems like they don't want to play nobody. They don't want to let Cathedral in the Avocado League, and nobody wants to put these teams from Central to Southern San Diego in the offseason. They don't want to play them in the early part of the season.
I changed my mind. You know who wins the Avocado League?
Who?
San Clemente.
They're not in the Avocado
They win
League.
it every year.
They're not in the
They play
Avocado
like
League.
all their non-league games are against Avocado League teams, and they wipe the floor with them every year.
Fair
Every
enough.
once in a while, one of them beats them.
Fair enough.
San Clemente.
Hey, Oceanside beat them a couple years ago.
I think didn't Torrey beat him a couple years ago? Maybe once or twice.
I don't think Torrey beat them.
Does San Clemente win the Avocado League in the 3 games they play? Oceanside, LCC, Torrey.
If they play Mission Hills and beat Mission Hills, I'd say yes.
They win the half Avocado League.
The Avocado West.
They get the avocado with the pit inside. That's the avocado they get.
Last time somebody made an avocado joke that was that bad was Jordan Allen.
He made a guacamole joke.
Yeah, but it was an avocado.
He's got
joke.
a good avocado socks. Anyway, I digress. Steel Canyon projected to come in second.
Who's your pick? Who wins the league? Don't say it.
I like Steel.
I can see Steel winning it. I'm gonna go with Granite Hills.
Did they win it last year?
In the spring, yes.
They went 5-1 on JV and on their varsity team. I like Steel. I think what they do is good, and we'll find out in the last 3 weeks. They got Helix, Granite, and Grossmont.
I'm taking Granite.
Does Grossmont have any chance of not coming last?
No.
Should they have split the league now 3
No.
and 8
No.
or whatever it is?
No.
We done with the Grossmont league?
Let's move on.
Granite, or you got Granite. Then who's your next team? Steel?
Helix.
Helix, then Steel, then
Yep,
Grossmont?
Grossmont.
I got Steel. Then Helix.
I think Steel's strength of schedule is too hard.
It is really hard, but
I don't see them winning.
all
that
they got
many.
to do is win 3 games in their league, and they win the league.
Okay, fair enough.
Metro Mesa League: Eastlake, Otay, Mater Dei, Olympian, Bonita, and Hilltop. Unfortunately, Hilltop's now in that league. So that when they did their split, they went from 3 to 2. When we're talking about pandemic, right, and lack of numbers, it stinks that Southwest San Diego can't have a varsity team this year.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to a point where some schools are getting good numbers and some schools aren't. We got to try to keep the numbers going. So hopefully they can have a varsity team next year. They're in the Metro.
We got to start. You got to start a Pop Warner League down there. Get more kids playing. What happened to the Imperial Chiefs?
When I was playing Pop Warner, they had the National City Diablos was down there.
No, dude. Southwest is down in
I know it's way
way down there.
But the teams that were Pop Warner that I played were
The
National
Diablos.
City
The National City
Diablos.
Diablos was like
and then the South San Diego Jaguars. I don't even know if they're around anymore. They used to play at San Ysidro.
No, I don't know them.
Anyway.
I think I was coaching back then.
The thing with Eastlake is the Jason Texler wild card. Where has Jason Texler been where he hasn't had success?
Nowhere. Everywhere he's been, he's had success.
He turned El Cajon Valley into a CIF championship caliber team.
San Marcos,
he's now at
Escondido.
Eastlake. He's not the head guy, but he's there. I don't think Eastlake's running the same wing T stuff that they used to run. It seems like they're running a lot more stuff. They beat Mater Dei last year. They went, what did they go, 4-1? 4-2? Where did they go last year? In the spring. They did pretty well. But they're projected to come in second behind Mater Dei. I think Eastlake's going to have a pretty good season this year.
Well, if they give the ball to Lyman, and Lyman is the starting quarterback, Eastlake's going to have a very, very good season. I'm very high on that kid. I think he's got a very big ceiling.
Schedules, strength of schedule is not very high. Eastlake's got the best strength of schedule, 114th in the state of California. Projected to go 7-3. Mater Dei projected to go 8-2. JV team went 5-0 last year. Spring varsity team went 3-2. They're projected to come in first. And
who's the second team they lost to?
Otay.
Oh, that's right.
That was Otay last year.
That's right.
They start off with Brawley, should be a win. Then they got
a pretty light schedule, don't they?
Westview. They got the 190th best schedule in the state of California. Brawley at Westview. They should be 2-0. Helix, I still think it's up in the air. You think they beat Helix. What about their game against La Jolla? That's an interesting matchup.
Well, La Jolla is one of those teams that will come out, smack you in the mouth, and upset you. I'm going to say...
Yeah, Jackson Stratton.
I'm going to say... It's not just Jackson Stratton. I think the game changer in that game is Mekhi Smith. I mean, Mekhi Smith is a wild card to me. You cannot count La Jolla out of any game that kid is playing in. Whether he's touching... I mean, what he had? 2 interceptions the other night, a kickoff return. Not a kickoff return because they weren't doing kickoffs. 2 receiving touchdowns and a running touchdown. You can't stop this kid. We played him as 7s. It's not even fair. You can't guard that kid.
The biggest,
I think they lose to La Jolla.
They beat Saints.
I think they beat Helix and lose La Jolla.
Did they beat Saints?
I do think they beat Saints.
There's a decent amount of Saints guys on that staff down there at Mater Dei.
I do think they beat Saints.
They're going to be ready for Saints.
Can you see that? I'm trying to get the team name.
As Chris talks about that. Mater Dei, Saints, Bonita, Otay, Eastlake, Hilltop, Olympian. They're projected to go 8-2. I think their opportunities potential. The teams that might be able to get them: La Jolla, Saints, Eastlake, and I'm still putting Helix in there because Helix is Helix until that happens.
We're gonna digress. We got breaking news that just came into our news desk here. We got a school looking for refs for tomorrow night. So if you guys have any refs, go into the SD Coaches Corner and get recommendations. It's in the post under our YouTube post that was in the San Diego Coaches Corner.
Do we know what team it is?
I'm still waiting for them.
Yeah, we're waiting for the team. But the information's in there, so please reply to them, guys. Help them out. Let's get some refs for tomorrow night.
That's been already a problem.
Yeah, it has.
It was already kind of short anyway. In the spring, you got lucky because college wasn't going on.
Right.
And so we had some pretty good
Officiating.
college officials. What was that one game, the Cathedral game? Was it against Torrey? They had a guy from the national championship, a guy from the college football playoff. They had they had
some dudes.
A legit, and it was the first time you're sitting there doing a game, and you're like, I have no complaints about the officials.
Yeah.
At the end of the
game. This
game's
well under control.
Right. So but that's a problem. It's been a problem. We've been talking about that for a while.
A while.
Obviously, I wasn't coaching. I think it'd be fun to officiate. Would you officiate?
No. I officiated a 7-on-7 game. I almost got beat up. So, no. Not doing it.
You wouldn't officiate?
No. Can't do it.
Wouldn't you go out there and wear your little...
I do. I actually have an officiating jersey. And
are you going to wear that in the next podcast?
No. You're not getting me to referee a game. Forget about it.
I had a ref a game once.
Yeah?
Cathedral forgot to book refs for the freshman game.
And you had a ref a game?
And we were supposed to go up to Orange Lutheran to play for JV, and then it was too hot, so they called when we were one exit away from Orange Lutheran, so we had to come back. And then it wasn't hot enough. It wasn't too hot to play the freshman game at Cathedral, so came back. Me, Mario Fierro, my dad, and Dan Geiger officiated the Cathedral Catholic Orange Lutheran freshman football game. DJ Justice was on that team.
Oh wow.
It took Orange Lutheran a little bit of time to realize that we were not real officials, and once they realized that, they just kind of gave us some slack. They're like, oh well,
Yeah.
it could have been worse.
Listen, I had to run the clock last weekend. That sucked.
No, dude, I don't want to run the clock.
I don't want to run the clock.
It's too much pressure.
Well, I'm used to NFL rules, so I kept stopping the clock, starting the clock, stopping the clock,
Right.
starting the clock, and I was like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to stop the clock here?
No, you gotta. No, the clock's too much pressure, especially since. By the way, here's the deal. If you're a home team, and your own clock does not help you out, something needs to change. You need to go up there.
You're fired.
Tell the bio teacher
You're fired.
to help you out.
Yes.
I mean, maybe a couple
Yes.
seconds here or there. You're
Yeah.
on a 2-minute drill,
Yeah.
and you're trying to spike the ball. Flip it quick.
Look.
Yeah, exactly. It happens at the collegiate level. It happens all over. If you can't get your own home field advantage clock, someone's out to get you on your own staff.
Yeah.
You gotta and go on headset and tell the guy up there,
Yeah.
fix the clock guy.
Right. Get rid of that clock guy's not doing this.
Because when I'm on the road, I just assume
that we're not getting
that I'm not
that
going to get the benefit of
Yeah.
the clock.
No,
So
you're
if they're no huddle going, it's
Yeah.
like just expect them to have enough time to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
You better block the field goal
You
or
better
get them to
block
the spot
it, yeah.
that's not.
Those are little things that only coaches and people on the inside
Right.
of football really understand and know.
Home field advantage clock. I've
Yeah.
seen it happen way too many times.
Yeah.
You look up there and you go, why?
Yeah.
Save us. Come
Yeah.
on. You got to
Yeah.
give us a little
Yeah.
bit of slack here.
Yeah.
So you got Mater Dei winning the Metro Mesa?
Nope. I got East Lake.
Then Mater Dei?
Yes. Mater Dei can't beat East Lake this year again.
I got Eastlake, Mater Dei, Otay.
I would agree with that.
And then
Everybody else.
Olympian?
Nope. I'm going to go Bonita Vista or Olympia.
I'm going Olympian, then Bonita, then I'm going Hilltop.
I got to give a shout out to a quarterback down there.
Go for it.
Nate Cristobal, transfer back to Bonita Vista. And I want to give a shout out to that young man. He played for me in sevens and hardworking kid. He returned home and wants to finish his senior year at Bonita Vista. So congratulations, young man. Enjoy your senior year.
Let's talk about the Western League.
Woohoo! Let's go. What do you got?
And you're the City League guy
City League.
that loves talking smack to the Avocado
City League.
League.
Avocado who? Avocado what?
First of all, let's talk about the new addition, La Jolla. They
Okay.
get bumped up to the Western League now. Good job by Tyler Roach and the La Jolla Vikings the last couple of years, putting together a really good program. And they had really good numbers this year based on his reports of, I think they had about 100 strong throughout all
In the
3
program.
levels,
Yep.
which is outstanding. But
Yep.
5-0 last season. They beat Helix last year. Really riding high. And,
What's the reward?
now you get to play with the big boys. So I think they're going to be ready for the challenge. I think they're going to be a resilient bunch, but I think it's going to be some tough sledding for La Jolla as they replace Point Loma in this league.
And not just tough sledding. I think depth is going to be an issue for them.
Right.
So I think that, when you come to the Western League, which is the best league, West Side is the best side. Yes, I said it. I've been saying that for years. The Western League is the hardest league in the entire county, bar none. Facts. Hashtag facts. Hashtag TopDAWG facts.
You know it's hard because we've been talking about the strength of schedules and where they rank in California.
Yep.
You know it's difficult when every team in the Western League's strength of schedule is 33rd or better
In the state?
in the state of California.
Okay, that's nuts.
The only one that's not is La Jolla, and I think that has to do a lot with their non-league
Non-league,
schedule,
yeah,
which
non-league schedule.
they flip leagues, so they have a
Right.
non-league schedule that's probably built more for the Eastern League.
Right.
But Saints actually has the toughest schedule out of the bunch, according to
Really?
Calibers. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they got Lincoln and Cathedral on their schedule, where Lincoln only has Cathedral and Saints, and Cathedral only has Lincoln and Saints. The top 2 teams in that conference are Lincoln and Cathedral.
I just got dizzy listening to what Braden just said, but okay.
Through circles. I'm sure somebody can understand what I'm saying. But anyway, 18th best schedule in the state for Saints.
That's not going to help them.
At El Camino, at Oceanside.
They beat El Camino. They
Is
lose to
Cram-
El Camino.
Is Coach Kramer going to have them stay in Oceanside for the week?
No.
You know how teams do that? They stay
No,
on the East
it's
Coast for the
Oceanside.
week?
Come on, it's
a
Oceanside.
far drive.
No.
You could go there twice.
Some of those
deal with
kids live.
traffic.
Some of those kids live in Oceanside and go to Saints. What are you saying?
They could go practice at the neighborhood park. Stay up in
Yeah.
Oceanside.
No,
It's a long
no,
trip.
no.
They're up there back-to-back weekends.
Listen, I'm going to say something that's not very popular.
Wait, hold on. When do you ever say something that's popular?
That's true. That's
Very
true.
controversial guy.
I'm worried about Joe at Saints.
I don't like talking about coaching hot seats, but
I'm worried.
Saints is a tough schedule.
Yeah, I'm worried, and I think that there's a big circle on that Cathedral game for St. Augustine and for Joe Kramer. He hasn't beaten Cathedral yet.
He hasn't,
so,
not as a head coach.
Not as a head coach. So, I think it's going to be tough. There's some pressure on the St. Augustine program to really step up this year.
They are projected to come in 4th in this league.
That's not good.
I don't think that happens, but that's what Cal Preps has projected to go 5-5. Here's Saints' schedule, like I said. At El Camino, at Oceanside, they get the 2 Avocado League teams. Those are good non-league games. At Santa Margarita, or they might be hosting Santa Margarita, but they're playing Santa Margarita week 3. Then they got Steele and at Helix, at Mater Dei, and then they got the Western League of at Lincoln, Madison, at Cathedral, and La Jolla. I think it's a very difficult schedule in terms of San Diego, but they only have one team out of conference that's on that list. I mean, out of city.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, it's tough, though. I mean, it's going to be a difficult schedule. I still think they do better than 5-5, though.
I think they're going to be right at 5-5.
6-4.
I'm going to say 5-5.
I think they go 6-4. I have a little bit more faith in the. I know you don't like the color purple, but I got a little bit more faith in the Saintsmen. It pains me to say that.
You feeling okay?
Maybe it's the residual of the vaccine.
You feeling okay?
Yeah, 6-4. It's pretty modest.
5-5.
All right, fair enough. Cathedral gets to pick number 1. They get the 20th best schedule in the state of California. At Torrey Pines to open up the season. It's a good rivalry game down the road. At Centennial. Who, by the way, Centennial is going to be ready to go against Cathedral because they remember the last time they played Cathedral. They didn't expect to lose to Cathedral.
No doubt.
They ended up losing. It's been a year and a half now since they get to play them. It's going to be
we
at
call that
Centennial.
a get-back game.
They don't have a game week 1.
Oh, so they're just rallying the troops.
But let's think about it this way. How many times have you seen teams in week 1 just look sloppy, right?
Very true.
Because it's the first game,
right.
All this stuff going on. I mean, how many times have we seen Cathedral look sloppy in game 1?
Yeah, we saw them look sloppy this weekend, or this last week.
Right. I mean, it happens. So you see it in the college level.
Yep.
That's why they have those tune-up games. So Centennial opening up with Cathedral, maybe that plays in a Cathedral's hand a little bit. But that's going to be a tough matchup for the Dons. Then they got Chaminade. We saw them at the Battle at the Beach. Decent-sized team, good team. They're going to be solid. They're going to be a solid football team. Mm-hmm. That's the Honor Bowl. Then they got Helix. Then they go up to De La Salle, which is going to be a challenge.
Are you going?
I am. I will be there. I'm
going too. Got my tickets. Got my plane tickets. Got my car. Got my hotel.
Are we gonna do the show live from the Bay Area?
Can we get Calvin there?
I don't know. We have to get Calvin on the road.
Yeah, get Calvin on the road. Calvin, you gonna make the trip?
That game was Sweetwater Grossmont.
Sweetwater Grossmont.
All right, Sweetwater Grossmont needs refs. Go on San Diego Coach's Corner and help these guys out, please. We need refs. These kids waited way too long to play football. Somebody out there, help them out.
So we got to get Calvin up there.
Okay.
But we'll figure it out. We'll ask De La Salle if we can do it on the field.
Yeah.
We'll be like, no, we're from San Diego. This is how we do things.
This is how we roll.
That's right.
West Side.
I heard the games out there is the closest thing to a game in Texas that you'll experience in California.
I'm excited.
The whole town comes out. It's a big deal.
Excited.
I'm excited too. That's going to be a tough one as well. At Steel Canyon, at Madison, Saints, La Jolla, Lincoln to finish up the season. Tough schedule always for the Dons. They're ranked 5th in the state right now. I think that's a little high, to be honest with you. De La Salle is ranked 10th. I think for most people, I think De La Salle is probably favored in that game, especially since Cathedral has to fly up the day of to go play De La Salle.
We're not flying up the day before?
No.
We fly up the same day?
Don't get me started. But
Where are we doing it?
Don't ask me. It's above my pay grade.
You need to get a raise.
You get a raise a lot of places. Yeah, you're right.
You're undervalued, Mr.
That's
Surprenant.
right.
Talk to your dad about that.
That's right. So,
Mike, are you watching this?
All right.
Take care of this kid, huh?
That's right. So that game's gonna be tough, but I'm looking forward to going up there. It's gonna be fun. But for me, I mean, they have Cathedral projected going 10-0. To be honest, I never pick anybody to go undefeated. I think a solid year for Cathedral with that schedule is 8-2.
So you do plan on going to practice tomorrow, right?
I do, but they understand that I have to be neutral in these things. So I took my Don's hat off, I put my reporter hat on, and I think they could do 8-2.
We're gonna run the table, babe. 10-0. Only team in San Diego to go
I'm
undefeated.
gonna let you be biased. I'm not gonna be biased.
I'm not biased. You tell me.
I had the rule.
Look.
I do not pick anybody to go undefeated.
Look.
It's high school kids, man. Stuff happens.
245 points scored to 14 points given up in the spring. They didn't just beat people. They steamrolled teams.
They didn't play.
They weren't. Listen.
They didn't play
None of those
Centennial.
teams. Listen. None of those teams is Division II. Every one of those teams had made the playoffs the year before, and 2 of those teams were in the either D1 or Open Division finals. 245 to 14.
We're talking about teams outside of San Diego now.
10-0. Who we lose? We lost. Realistically, the 2 guys that are gonna hurt, and I'll say the number 1 guy that hurts is Malachi Williams.
I think Deshaun
That hurts. Deshaun's great. I don't think he hurts just as much as losing Malachi. Okay.
that's
Now
fair.
I will say this.
Secondary's very young.
Yeah,
Very
but
young.
okay, that kid that just came in from Oceanside. They played for the IE Ducks.
You talking about Madden?
Madden.
He's a freshman.
Yeah, he's a 6'3", 210-pound freshman that makes plays. 10-0.
It's hard to go from a guy like Malachi Williams that can
10
get the whole
and
defense lined up and go with 2 very young.
Are you an
safeties.
offensive guy or a defensive
I'm a
guy?
defensive guy. I understand.
So
that.
you're gonna have to explain this to Montali when you talk about his defense like that.
I didn't say anything about his defense. I just said realistically.
Coach,
I think
you watching
82 is
this?
a good year.
You watching this?
I think you're being a little too biased.
No, I've seen people. I've seen the teams.
They're good.
You got Harmon Savaianai. I mean, you got
Okay, by the
Jackson
way,
Moy.
there's
You've
not-
got. I'm dropping names. If you want to drop, you
You
drop
haven't
names.
even said arguably the best defensive player they have.
Tano.
Yes.
Mm,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
mm. I'll take Harmon over Tano.
No,
I'll take Harmon. Tano, don't get mad at me.
dude. I don't want Harmon to get mad at me, but
But I'm just
I
saying this.
think
Harmon has
Tano-
something that most kids don't have.
Tano.
It's called mess you upness.
I'm gonna tell
When
you
he
now,
hits a kid,
n-
his soul hurts.
Tano's more than that.
I saw him body slam that kid.
Tano might knock guys out of games. He hits so hard.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to take Harmon. I think Harmon's a mess you up kind of guy.
I want to get Darian's opinion on that. Because the other day, Darian and Tano on a jet sweep, it was like the clash of the Titans. It was just like, what's the physics thing?
Yeah.
Two move
Yeah,
on,
two
they
move
just-
on, just hit
They
each other
hit each other at the
time.
same time, and they just
Yeah.
basically stood there.
Yeah.
But you have Jackson Moy.
Yep.
You have Tano Latu.
Yes.
You have Harmon.
Yes.
Your defensive front.
Add in Madden
It's
to that,
tough.
man. Then you add in Radcliffe. Then you add in
You know who
at
hits
corner.
you know who hits harder than all those guys?
Who?
Ty Cortez.
I don't even know who that is.
Sophomore from Poway.
Okay.
Kid's a stud. He's a sophomore. He's playing safety with.
What about our
With
little guy
Madden.
that flies around? The sophomore kid that flies around.
Talk about Ty?
No. The blonde haired kid.
The middle linebacker?
He's a running back and a backer.
Talking about Bond?
No, never mind. I digress. All right, let's move on.
Lincoln 7-3, projected this season to come in second in the Western League according to CalPreps. 24th best schedule. I like their schedule. I think it's very interesting. That Los Alamitos game is going to be very telling for Lincoln because Los Alamitos
It's good.
is good. In fact, they're ranked 6th right now in the state
Yeah,
of
they're
California.
good.
Well, let's put it this way. Remember we went up to Battle of the Beach?
Yep.
Where did all the kids that went to Mater Dei and Bosco live? Ones that are
Yeah.
able to get to Bosco and Mater
Right.
Dei. They'll be very, very good.
Yep.
So they got Los Al. Then you got Mission Hills,
Yep.
who's also very good. They should be able to handle Mira Mesa. Steel Canyon will give them a run, Otay, and then they get to West. I like Lincoln's schedule. I think that's it gives them an
Let
opportunity.
me stir the
to be
pot up a little bit.
challenged early.
I'm looking at that schedule. The last game of the year is Cathedral. We all know what happened in spring. Does that game happen? Does Lincoln play Cathedral this year?
I don't know if that game happens or not. It's at Lincoln this year.
So here in the regular season, you're going to have to see both. One of those teams you have to see each other playoffs.
They're both making the Open.
So
Are they both making the Open
yes,
out of the 4 teams?
yes, 2 of them are going to be from the Western League.
Who are the other 2 coming from? Avocado?
Yeah, it's going to be a
I was
2-conference
going to say,
league.
because you had Eastlake
It's gonna be a
You had
2-conference.
Eastlake winning the South Bay, and
It's
we
gonna be a
think the
2-conference.
Grossmont Hills League is going to be a disaster. So
It's going to be a
Eastlake doesn't
2-conference.
sneak in,
No,
even with the new CIF rankings.
no, they're on the outside looking in. I think Carlsbad, Mission Hills get in.
What do we think about Madison? Improved from last year. They went 2-3. A lot of youth.
Listen, I
still a lot of
like
youth.
I like Barrett. I like the poly linebacker kid they got over there.
Is it going to take one
I
more
think-
year for them?
Yeah, I think they're a year away. They'll finish in third.
They
I
got a
actually
good
think
schedule,
I
too,
actually
but
think they're going to beat Loyola.
I think they. You know what gives me the opinion why they beat La Jolla? Experience in the Western League.
I think you know what makes me think they're going to win that?
They're better than La Jolla.
Ben Follow. By far, Ben Follow, one of the best DCs in San Diego County. He game plans harder than a lot of DCs do, and he does not get enough credit for what he does over with Madison.
All right, so you got Cathedral 1. Who's your 2? Lincoln.
Lincoln's my 2.
3. Saints.
Yeah, let's go to Saints 3.
Madison 4. La Jolla 4.
Madison 4. La Jolla 5.
All right. Those are our previews.
Yep.
You got a top 10 for me right now? Or are we waiting for the first week?
Let's go. Start at 10. Nah. You know what? I think we could do it. Oh, we're buffering. Are we still live?
Yeah.
Top 10.
Okay, top 10. Down?
I think we're unanimous with Cathedral number 1.
Yep.
After last year, what they have coming back this year, I think you go Cathedral 1.
Yep.
I got Carlsbad 2.
I got Lincoln 2.
I got Lincoln 3.
I got Carlsbad 3.
All right, so we flipped the game of the week.
Otay Ranch Madison.
Even though it's at Madison. It's fair enough.
Close enough.
I think that game's going to be pretty good. I got Madison, though.
I got Madison.
By 7.
14.
Okay. I was going to say 14 as well. I like Madison. East County game of the week. Poway Granite Hills. This has been a pretty good back and forth week 1 game for these two squads. In fact,
I'm gonna go
their games
upstate.
at Poway 2 years ago. They lost
Granite
Vance
Hills.
Jefferson.
I think that Granite Hills is the favorite,
I would agree.
but
I'll give you El Camino by a touchdown.
yep, I'm going 28.
Max.
Numbers at Saints are low. I mean,
They are low.
They dress 35 kids
scrimmage.
at the scrimmage. I don't think they've lost a lot in their secondary, and I've seen El Camino's wide receivers, and I've seen Kai Reed.
You've convinced me. 14.
I say 28. Bernardo,
By 7.
9.
9. We
Yeah.
kicking field goals?
No,
A couple games out of town. Mission Hills going to Chaparral. I think Mission Hills takes care of
I
it.
take Mission Hills.
Tesoro visiting La Costa Canyon.
I'll go with our hometown boys.
Give me Tesoro.
Yep. Oh, you took Tesoro?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that, guys.
Carlsbad at Great Oak. Give me Carlsbad by 21.
You think Great Oak wins?
I said give me Carlsbad by 21.
I'll take Carlsbad. 14.
Other interesting games for you out there. What else?
Hey, you didn't talk about Patrick K. Mount Miguel.
No, I was going to say that for the end. Since it's tomorrow's game.
Okay.
Bishop's La Jolla.
Loya's going to crush him.
Right. They don't have Tyler Buckner anymore.
No, they don't have that. Could just transfer to Cathedral.
Victory.
Yep.
Who else? Scripture at San Pasquale, the COVID-19 switch
Bowl.
run game.
We call that the COVID-19 switch game. I'm going to
They
go
will
with Marlon
switch.
Gardnera. Have you seen that quarterback, Jax?
No.
Dude, first of all, where the heck did he find a 6'8.5" quarterback? This kid is a monster.
To get him from here, Mesa.
Guess who he trains with?
Todd?
Yep. And who else? I don't know. Some guy that just...
Golden Tate?
No. How about Drew Brees?
Oh, Drew Brees is working out with them now?
That's insane. This kid is legitimately 6'8". He's about 215 pounds. Wow.
You got scripts?
Wow.
You don't buy into the flex?
No.
The San Pasquale Cowboy
No,
flex?
no.
Do you like that?
Are we talking about the raincoat?
No, they do the flex at the line of scrimmage where they all go like this and then they jump up and then they get set.
No.
Calvin knows what I'm
I
talking
don't like the raincoats.
about. Oh, the jackets?
That's goofy.
They do a lot of
Goofy stuff.
Colty things.
What do you say?
They do a lot of Colty things.
Colty things?
Yeah.
Like
Texas
David
A&M 's
Koresh?
like a Colt.
Like David Koresh kind of coat thing?
I didn't want to get extreme, but they got the jackets.
If you
they
say
do-
Colt, I don't know.
It's very Colty.
Okay, I don't know.
The only thing that gives them
It's
better
weird.
than
It's
Texas
listen,
A&M,
it's weird. It's weird. And they like
They're
run
like
down
Texas
the center.
A&M.
Listen, if you've never seen this, around the edge of the field.
They have that little tunnel thing. in the
Yeah,
middle,
and then
too,
they
like
run through the tunnel like on the 50-yard line. It's super weird.
It's very interesting.
No, it's weird.
I think they had a deal where like nobody was allowed to wear a single-digit number for a long time. They just started allowing that like a couple years ago.
What is this?
I don't know. That's just it is what it is.
All
It's
right.
what they do. Any other games that stick out to you besides the game we're going to talk about? Since
I want to talk about the inaugural game for the Canyon Hills
Rattlers, that's right.
formerly known as
The Sarah Conquistadors.
they are now the Canyon Hills Rattlers. They go to it's a home game.
They're hosting El Cap.
I don't even know who their head coach is.
No, it's like Brandon something.
I don't know. He must have just gotten hired because a couple weeks ago they didn't have a head coach. So,
How do you think that's...
dude, it's going to be horrible. And I feel so bad for those kids at Sarah.
Oh, so do I.
By the way, did you hear where their former head coach landed?
He's at, isn't he at Gorman?
Yeah, Bishop Gorman.
What's
How
he
do you
doing at
leave Sarah
Gorman?
go? I mean, that's
Wait,
awesome.
how do you do
No,
that?
I'm saying, how do you turn that
I
down?
was going to say, that's a pretty...
How do you
pretty
turn
much
that
a
down?
no-brainer.
All right. But anyway, Canyon Hills plays El Capitan tomorrow. I'm going to take the El Capitan Vaqueros.
I take the Vaqueros.
And unfortunately,
What do you
Canyon
think-
Hills starts
What do you think Canyon
0-1.
Hills uniforms are going to look like?
If I in my mind, you know what I'm thinking? Cobra from G.I. Joe.
I'm picturing that too. It is red
But
and
like
black.
purple and black. Those would be the
Are you
perfect schools.
confused? Are you confused with the Arizona Diamondbacks?
No. Like Cobra from G.I. Joe.
I know what you're talking
I
about.
would love to have
Red
a
and black.
team have like that Cobra logo on the side of their helmet and be like purple and silver. That would just look really cool, I think.
I think that's all the games that I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
Game tomorrow should be pretty good. Patrick Henry and Mount Miguel tomorrow at 7 o'clock at Henry.
I'm not going to go against one of the best offensive coaches probably in the history of San Diego County,
Points.
JT O'Sullivan.
Do
I'm
they
going to
ever
take
punt?
never punts.
And they always kick an onside kick.
Always kidding on side kick.
Live by the onside kick, you die by the onside kick.
He almost knocked off Madison last year.
That's right.
So I'm going to go JT O'Sullivan and Patrick Henry.
I got Patrick Henry as well. That will do it for us this week. A nice little hour show there for you. It took us a little bit to get on the air. We're going to be back
apologize
every
for that.
single Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. We might be taking the show on the road as well. Feel free to come join us. We're going to try
and
to
a live studio audience.
That's right. We're going to try to reach out to a handful of teams in the next couple weeks or so, get some guests, talk a little football with some of the players.